Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning to you. Another really long video. We have the royal family news. We have the actual funeral of the Duchess of Kent. Very sad, some really sad pictures. And then Tom Bower has come out. And then, if you can believe it, you know how the media in the UK has been trashing William and Princess Catherine? Well, one of the people decided to put out an entire article as an apology. But is it really an apology? We're going to cover all of that. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, as part of her role as patron of the International Sheepdog Society, who runs the competition every year. Princess Anne went to the International Sheepdog Trials. This contest was held over the weekend. Anne toured the grounds, had a laugh and a joke with the volunteers at the event, and met with some young competitors. I love it. Let's move on to Edward. It is hard to keep up with all of these events. We know that he addressed the people of New Guinea during their 50th anniversary, independence from Australia event. We know that on day 3, he arrived to attend a dawn flag raising ceremony. This ceremony was held at Independence Hill within the Parliament House grounds, and Edward was there representing King Charles. Remember, this is their independence from Australia. It was officially recognized September 16th of 1975, and this celebration also included a flypast by the Royal Australian Air Force fighter jets and a 50-cannon salute. This event was also attended by the Prime Minister, the Governor General, and other dignitaries. Now, next up, there is a new courthouse. It's a new national court complex of the country. And Edward was taken there where he walked around and he met some people, including the Chief Justice, I might add. Then, of course, he got up on the stage because he was giving a speech, as he always does. This courthouse is located in Port Moresby, which happens to be the capital, and it was symbolized of the nation's democratic evolution. Again, the unveiling took place on September 16th and was one of several engagements during the day. I have to say, I think Edward looks fabulous. All right, next up we have the Duchess of Kent. We're going to cover the actual funeral now, and I'm going to put music to it like I did last time. We saw people arriving, India Hicks and Lady Susan Hussey and all these relatives. And you're going to see Andrew. Yes, Andrew was there, you guys. I'm not going to argue with you. This is a family member, somebody who had been in his life his whole life, and he basically went there for the funeral and then he left, okay? Now, there was one scene that you'll see during the funeral where he walks right up to William. He literally touches shoulders with William. He's trying to talk to William. William is ignoring him very obviously. And I wonder if Andrew did that because he wanted a picture of the two of them together. You know what I'm saying? And William at one point gave Andrew a look. All right, here comes the music. Here comes a beautiful funeral. Also, FYI, this section of the funeral, which was several hours long, I compiled down to 8 minutes. If you don't want to see the pictures, and I think these are just the most important pictures and videos, if you don't want to see this, please skip forward 8 minutes. Okay, let's go. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce, as usual, for showing us what Sophie and Catherine were wearing at this very sad event. The Duke of Kent just broke my heart. Time to move on to our Harry, Meghan stuff. Now, one of the stories that's coming out is saying that Harry is distancing himself from Meghan Markle's career and her As Ever brand because he's really trying for this reconciliation with the royal family. So, in other words, it's not supposed to be a money-making thing for them, although it has been literally since the minute they left the royal family. Even when Harry got back from his travels, she put up a post on As Ever and she was flogging her wine. She can't separate the two. She never could. Now, Tom Bower, who we know wrote the book Revenge, and I love everything he does, he went on GB News and he had a lot to say after Harry denied using Spare to air his dirty laundry, and he literally ripped into them in a very heated debate. So I'm not even going to try to tell you what he said. I'm going to let you hear it yourself. Here we go.
Not only about that, but a lot more. I mean, he said the most dreadful things in his book about Prince William, about Kate, about his father, and about Camilla, and about Britain too. And of course, it wasn't only in his book. He did it on the Netflix series and the Apple series. And all over the world, he's gone round saying Britain's a racist country and this country is, his family is racist and all the rest. So the fact that he actually comes to Britain on a very, very structured, well-organised tour, gives away £1.5 million to charities, money he hasn't really got, but he'll do anything to ingratiate himself, convinces the royal core of reporters that it's all reconciliation, convinces his father at the very last moment to meet him for reconciliation, promises that he'll be silent when he leaves, gets to Ukraine, and immediately delivers this amazing self-justification of saying that his conscience is clear, that he's got no regrets, and that everything he said was just a matter of the truth, and it's about time his family buckled down and apologised to him. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Tom Bower, with that in mind, if you could sum up Prince Harry in a single word, what would it be?
Dishonest. I mean, I am currently finishing a book about him, and what is remarkable is you've got to remember just 6 months ago when the whole Centre Bailey crisis happened, this is his charity in Lesotho and Botswana, he was accused by the chairman of being a bully, a misogynist, of being dishonest and all the rest of it. And it did seem as if Harry's reputation had hit the dust. But he very cleverly has put all that behind him and suddenly appears, and because he hands out baubles to children and smiles and all the rest of it, everyone says, oh, it's the old Harry back. Well, it's not the old Harry back. It's a new Harry. It's the Harry that wants to have his cake and eat it. He wants to live in California and pop over here just to remind people how important he is, and at the same time, of course, undermine the royal family. And that really is. He and Meghan together have done more in the last 4 or 5 years to destroy the royal family than anyone over the past hundreds of years. And I fear that this trip has done huge damage to the royal family because in the end he'll get his vengeance, and it's very, very bad. This is the point. It's very, very bad for Prince William and Kate. You know, they are struggling to assert themselves. She's not well, the king's not well, the monarchy is not in its best shape ever, and here comes Harry just spewing out his bonhomie and his money, thinking he can buy himself a license to carry on as before. And I think he should have been told you can't do it.
And now I want to tell you guys that your comments have been really spot the heck on. And I've been reading them. Some of them are just so amazing. Like, really. And even when I pointed out that Harry said that the reason that, you know, he was so happy to work the crowds, but the reason the crowds weren't big was because of William, you guys caught on to that too. It's crazy. All right, let's move on to what I consider to be the big story for today. All right, here we go. Amanda Patel, she's the one that called William and Catherine the prince and princess of boring. Suddenly, she seems to have had some sort of epiphany. And now she said she's eating her words. Not just eating them, choking on them. She said after reading details of Catherine's hectic itinerary for President Trump and First Lady Melania's historic second state visit to Britain, she's just like, wow. She continued on, I regret I overlooked what a valuable asset Kate is to the royal family, and for that, I owe her an apology. Given her high-profile role in diplomatic proceedings, I'm astonished that a mum of 3, and let's not forget who's still recovering from cancer, even managed to squeeze in those 2 textile factory visits alongside the extensive preparations required for Trump's visit. She said it was satisfying to see the media coverage of the Trump tour has already eclipsed Prince Harry's visit, which she says she can now see for what it was, a desperate bid from Harry to ingratiate himself back not just into his father's good books, to remind us also of his inalienable royal status as 5th in line to the throne, a status that has made him and his wife millions through the Netflix documentary and Harry's own memoir, Spare. And then she goes on to say, a deluded Harry claimed in a newspaper interview barely one day after he left Britain that he's always loved the UK and he will always love the UK, expressing his deepest desire for his wife and children to rediscover the country he was brought up in. And he also said after the whirlwind tour, he now feels a lot of support from the British public. And that statement made me laugh out loud. She wrote, it's now clear his 4-day trip was nothing more than a desperate attempt to improve his approval ratings, which fell to just 27% in May, following the BBC interview where he claimed the king wouldn't speak to him. And yet, he had the goal to claim that the focus has to be on his dad. Yep, she wrote, that'll be the dad who did not trust him with even a full hour of his time. And even then, it's reported there was a third person present to protect the king from any mudslinging like his horrible past accusations of racism and unkindness towards Meghan. She then goes on to say that because Harry said, my conscience is clear, she doesn't think he has a conscience, especially when he pointed out that you just have to stick to the truth, even though we've caught both him and Meghan in so many lies. It's absolutely a joke. This woman says he has yet to be given an apology to the royal family, but he still wants an apology from them. And both heaven and hell will freeze over before that ever happens. Sources claimed when King Charles is no longer with us and William is king, he will do everything in his power to have Harry exiled. So she wrote, I'm sorry for doubting you, Kate, but take consolation in the fact that while you and William are entertaining the American president, your greedy, grasping, self-pitying brother-in-law Harry is back in happy, clappy California with no proper job to speak of except for feeding his organic chooks. Wow. So she ponied up an apology, but a lot of people felt that this was not a real apology. A lot of people felt that her words in this article were literally dripping with sarcasm, and they felt that it fell far short after the horrible things that she wrote about Catherine. It's been said it was offensive, and she had plenty of time to hit the backspace or delete button or let it sit for a little while before publishing, that it was not a decent apology. So the question is, what is she doing, and why did she put this out, and why was it so sarcastic? Well, you have to wonder, did she get backlash, or did she really see the light? What happened? All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as my physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.